were looking to buy a house, first house, and we looked at dozens of houses in Ipswich, and every one of them seemed to be soulless. And we walked into this timber frame house, and it was just like that. And it just hit us. And we just walked in, there was beams everywhere, and that, there was something there. There was an earthy connection, and we just said, well, we've got to have it because it's just perfect.
The process from the very beginnings of what it is to what it can land up to, it's amazing. So natural materials that are all there. You know, if you have knowledge, you can go into any woodland, feed yourself, be very comfortable too. Comfy bed, nice and warm, even through the winter.
You spend all this time making an instrument, then it goes out into the world, and it's nice to see them when they come back again and see how they've mellowed with age and how they're getting on.
It's in our makeup to work with wood. It's a way of rediscovering themselves, but also as a kind of therapy. It's a great anxiety buster. It's a way of becoming totally focused. You become at one with the material, and I think it's a very spiritual thing, and it's also a very developing thing to do. It helps one find a new place in your life to be creative.
And I've become quite despondent working in an IT career. I found it very ungratifying, and then I discovered that people were building timber frame houses now, and I just handed them a notice and I said, this is not for me. And then just went off and did some courses in timber framing, and it made me realise how really fascinating the subject is.
Modern life is busy. I have a different perception now to what I had 4 or 5 years ago. I realised change weren't going to happen unless I made active steps towards it. But over the years, that makes people resourceful and creative.
It's taken me 25 years to get to this point of experience and of compromising and finding the sort of a good sort of manageable level of knowing when to use a power tool and when to use a hand tool.
I mean, the techniques that I use are based on, they're not exactly the same, but they're based on the principles that were used in the medieval period.
This is the third lathe I've built, and it's, I think, after a couple of adaptations, I think it's about where I want it for now. But if you've made it yourself, you can cut bits off and stick bits on, and it's easy to adjust it and modify it.
Here we have Andre shaping up a billet of wood to make a leg for a chair. So the process is to make 4 legs, or maybe 3 legs, so we can have 3-legged chairs. We'll make the seat out of perhaps a different type of wood. Again, that's been prepared. The processes of planing, smoothing the wood into nice shapes and forms to make it comfortable to sit on. And then we develop the back of the chair. We may be using steam to heat the wood to bend it, to give us some interesting shapes. The whole process is it's ever expanding. It's like ripples in the pond. You're taking that process out further and further until you get your finished chair or stool or rake or whatever it is that you want to make. But the processes are very much about hand tools, using hand tools rather than machines.
I'm an ecological instrument maker. Sometimes I use recycled wood, and what I would say about it is that actually the amount of wood that goes into making a violin or a guitar is actually quite a small amount of wood. There's only so many instruments I can make in my lifetime, making them by hand. And I don't think, even if I was to use an endangered species, which I don't think that would have a detrimental effect on the planet.
I do my best, and I will source all my timber locally, because a lot of my timber comes from large estates or just tidying up, I don't know, people's gardens with bits of oak trees and things like that.
From a sustainability point of view, most of the wood I get would probably go to firewood. I just get it, I get what I get from here and there. Somebody was having a big walnut tree cut down recently, and I got some of that. What I didn't take away was going to be burnt, basically. There was a little bit of the heartwood that the joiner took, but there was only, out of an enormous tree, there was maybe a couple of metres of dark heartwood, which is what he wanted. All the rest was pale. This is bottled sunshine. The trees, all the trees need is light, air and water, and the leaves do the magic, and they produce this stuff, which is absolutely glorious. And when you cut it down, they grow up again and do it all over again for you.
The raw material starts off as a log from a tree, so the tree has to be it's the end of the life of a tree or a part of the tree, and that in itself is that's something you have to come to terms with, a bit like eating meat. But that wood is giving itself to you to use, and I think we all so readily put wood into the fireplace to burn it for heat, but it has so many other uses before it gets there. So my philosophy is to take it from the raw material, where we split it, we break into the heart of the wood, we open it up, and we exposed for the first time ever. When you split a log and open up the grain to the sunlight, it's the first time it's been exposed to that new, it's a rebirth for the wood.